And we welcome you in on this Friday afternoon and what's shaping up to be a really nice weekend weather-wise. Might even get some of those warmer temperatures we've been craving. Got to get through tonight, though. We're still expecting temperatures in the 40s in some pockets. Let's bring in AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson now to get us set for the weekend. Hey, Brian.
Yeah, hey, Larry. It hasn't been too bad of an afternoon, but it has been on the cool side. Like you said, temperatures have been in the 60s this afternoon for the most part, and we'll see temperatures drop into the 40s and 50s tonight, but much warmer this weekend. A beautiful day tomorrow with lots of sunshine, high temperatures in the upper 70s, and we'll get well into the 80s Sunday. Might even be a touch more humidity. I don't think it'll be midsummer humidity, but it will be a little more noticeable, and it still looks largely dry with some sunshine. Larry?
Ooh, gorgeous weekend. I'd call out sick if I was working. Play hooky. At the top of the broadcast, are we on the brink of an LIRR strike? Oh, I had another thud last night. They wrapped things up at 10 o'clock. Both sides were back at it today, hoping to pull a rabbit out of the hat before the clock strikes midnight. That's when Cinderella's carriage, a.k.a. the trains, turned into pumpkins. They could sit idle, considering there will be no one in place to run them. Somebody asked Ken Sexton, the head of the Brotherhood, if he thought they could work something out in this short amount of time. He reportedly responded, "I hope so." Thousands of commuters hope so, too, and especially before it's time to head back to work on Monday. And then you got the businesses on the perimeter of Penn Station who feed off those commuters, so a shutdown could create the ripple effect from hell. 1010 Wins reporter Mary Lynn Buckley talking with some of those business owners today. And so she's in our leadoff spot on this Friday.
Commuters aren't the only ones thinking about the possible LIRR strike. It's on business owners' minds, too.
If we feel less people, we worry about
this traffic, which hurt the business like in a retailer.
Sharon works at Dazzle Nails and was working with a client from Long Island.
So if nobody stop by, then we're gonna know business.
She tells us a great chunk of her customers are LIRR commuters.
Yes, we have a lot. The people working nearby, if they cannot come to the work, we will have a problem with the business.
Union leaders for LIRR workers are back at the bargaining table. Mary Lynn Buckley, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM at Penn Station.
And of course, 1010 Wins is in place all weekend long to bring you the very latest developments on the looming strike. Whether it goes down or not, we are on top of it, folks. Also, on Long Island, you can run, Ronald, but you can't hide, at least not forever. Nassau police have hauled in a guy they say is responsible for a burglary, which happened last December in Syosset. 40-year-old Ronald Suarez allegedly snuck into a house, stole jewelry and cash, totaling more than $200,000. Well, the major case squad took a few months, but they tracked him down and arrested him yesterday for the burglary, but they say he's also wanted for grand larceny here in the city. And on top of all that, police say he's also in the United States illegally, so he's subject to removal proceedings. A lot stacked up against this guy. Not sure if we'll get a bromance out of it. That rift between Mayor Mamdani and billionaire Ken Griffin, that is. The Citadel CEO was livid after Mamdani's tax day comments about his deep pockets in all of his houses. And while the mayor has reportedly extended the olive branch, they say Griffin might want a public apology to keep him from pulling a LeBron James. That is, packing up his talents, moving to South Beach.
Mayor Mamdani acknowledged he has made an effort to speak to Ken Griffin.
A member of our team reached out to his to set up a conversation. That continues to be an open invitation.
His Honor noted he's been meeting with other business leaders for their knowledge and input. The outreach stems from Mamdani's video in front of Griffin's Billionaires Row building as he celebrated the pied-à-terre tax. Griffin called him out on that and called the video creepy and weird. Asked if he sensed Griffin needed a public apology.
No, we reached out to set up a meeting. Still ready to do.
Juliet Papa, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
We'll keep you posted. Big things on the shelf, no pun, for the city's library system. The mayor and reps from the city's public library system got together to announce and celebrate the restoration and baselining of some $32 million earmarked for the library system. Money is an official part of the executive budget now, Mayor Mamdani.
Our executive budget baselines $31.7 million in new permanent funding across all three of New York City's public library systems.
Yeah, so it's a done deal. The library bosses thanked the mayor for restoring and baselining the library's operations, saying preserving these funds is a win-win for all New Yorkers and helps to maintain a vital service. This is a big deal, folks, all things considered, facing a $5.5 billion overall deficit. The mayor's initial proposal, you recall, 4 months ago was to slash the library's budget. Remember the big brouhaha over that? Yeah, so this change of heart is a relief. AccuWeather says the rest of this day, times of clouds and sun, breezy and cool with a high of 67. Down to 55 in the city tonight, 40s across the burb. But tomorrow, ooh la la, pleasant and warmer with sun much of the day. Bit of a breeze, too, in the afternoon, a high of 78 degrees. Oh, hush your mouth. It's going to be a great weekend. Loving it, looking forward to it. Well, the Westchester DA says a 23-year-old guy named Jaden Ross has been busy and has landed him in jail for alleged stalking. He's charged in a 17-count indictment alleging he stalked, harassed, and assaulted a pair of his exes. He's also accused of burglary. So he's sitting downtown with a $100,000 bond now, pleading not guilty. The judge issued temporary orders of protection so he can't go anywhere near his alleged victims. He's due back in court June the 2nd. DA says considering his alleged serial actions, we'll do whatever necessary to make sure Ross behaves himself. In one alleged incident last summer, investigators say Ross confronted one of his ex-girlfriends in the hallway of her apartment building. She reportedly told him, "No, dude, I'm done with you. Go away. Plus, I heard you beat up on another woman earlier. Scram, pal." Woman says he grabbed her by the throat until she fell to the ground, then grabbed her iPhone and ran off. Back in a moment. They are the biggest, the best, the brightest baseball teams on the planet. The Mets, of course, and the Yankees playing in the Met. I'm lying. I was told to say that, but one thing is true. They are in that Subway Series this weekend. Wednesday news time, 2:11. Let's get you where you need to go. Here's Greg.
Yeah, with the LIRR, that's going to be an issue with the Subway Series tonight. It's going to be very limited service, so if you are relying on the LIRR to get you over to Penn Station, to get you over to Citi Field tonight, maybe make a different plan. The 7 trains, they're going to be crowded, but there's no chance the 7 trains go on strike tonight, so those might be the best idea. Again, very limited service. Last night, they canceled 7 trains during rush hour on the Port Washington branch. I'm guessing they'll try to keep more service going tonight with that Subway Series game, but you cannot rely on the LIRR and especially the Port Washington branch as your sole way to get to and from that Met game tonight. It's going to be extremely limited and very delayed service. Right now, LIRR with half-hourly service between Jamaica and Penn Station. I don't mean your branch has half-hourly service. I mean there is 1 train between Jamaica and Penn Station every 30 minutes, and that is it. It is not going to be a normal rush hour. Again, a lot of trains will originate and terminate at Grand Central Madison. I would guess some will do the same at Atlantic Terminal. So the idea for today with the LIRR commute going home, the same as yesterday. Get yourself to either Grand Central Madison or to Atlantic Terminal and just take the first thing that goes back to Jamaica, because all of the service heading back to Long Island is going to converge at Jamaica anyway. Just make sure you can get to Jamaica and get home from there. Again, 7 trains, not the LIRR tonight to the Subway Series, because again, there's going to be very limited service on the LIRR's Port Washington branch, and if the game goes late, there could be an LIRR strike on top of the city-bound side of the George Washington Bridge. Over an hour to the upper, 45 minutes on the inbound lower west side, the best of it out. Lincoln Tunnel, still about 20 in, 30 to 40 out from 11th, a little bit better from 9th. Holland's already at least 45 to 60 minutes out of town. Newark Bay better than the Skyway either way, but not perfect. Greg Rice, 1010 wins at 92.3 FM.
And now your AccuWeather 4-day forecast. Meteorologist Brian Thompson now with this live report.
Well, Larry, will still have a cool breeze at times through the rest of this afternoon with clouds and some sun, a high of 67. Now, the sky will clear out as we head into tonight. Low 55 in the city. It'll be in the 40s in some suburbs. That'll be the coolest night we see for a little while, as it will be a warmer weekend by a good margin here. We'll have sunshine much of the time tomorrow, a bit of a breeze in the afternoon, a high up to 78. We hit 86 on Sunday, maybe even a touch more humidity with more sun than clouds. Then Monday, we'll have a little bit of a sea breeze in place, so we're going to end up with a wide range in temperatures. It's going to be a pretty sunny day. It'll be in the 60s at some beaches, as hot as near 90, though, in parts of New Jersey. Mostly cloudy at 61. Right now, Midtown, we're going up to 67. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on New York's weather station. 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
Ah, the weekend is here, and you heard Brian. Beautiful weather ahead, and what could be better than the start of a great Subway Series? Okay, Marlon, so on the surface, it doesn't quite rise to the height of a Clash of the Titans. The Mets are in last place and have the second worst record in the National League, and the Yankees have lost 5 of their last 6. But we hear the food is good. Play ball.
Lots of excitement for Subway Series action this weekend. Yankees, Mets fans all over the MLB store loading up in their gear. This longtime Yankee fan tells me, though, he's not sure his team's going to perform well.
Funny thing is, usually something like this, the Yankees would get swept. We know who the big boys are in town, you know?
Let's get an unbiased opinion. How about a guy named Mariano Rivera? He was here at the store, and he tells me...
Yes, you know, I mean, you see Yankee fans, you see Met fans, you know, but above all, they are New York fans, and that's what I like.
Asked Mo about the outcome this weekend. He was very diplomatic, though, saying let the best team win. One shot, 10-10 wins, 92.3 FM here in Midtown.
Yeah, you can figure out which one. Like I said, at least the food is good. As our news continues on 10-10 Wins, the Riviera Beach, Florida now area where there's a dude here that's living right. Listen to this. Police say Luis Salazar noticed a fanny pack hanging on a railing inside a bathroom at a Wawa gas station down there. Opened it to see if he could find some ID, to return it to the rightful owner. But all he found were some papers with pictures of some guy named Benjamin printed on them. Dude found $30,000 cash. He called the police, who went and looked at the store's video camera to track down the owner. Salazar says long and short, the owner was crying his eyes out that somebody found his bag and returned it to him. Says he was carrying the money for a family emergency, and he was shocked that anybody would return it to him. Salazar says, well, it wasn't my money to take. I wasn't raised that way. Salazar says, nope, I never even considered keeping the money. Not for 1 minute, didn't even ask for a reward. And today was a good day. From Atlanta, what in the Waymo heck is this? Why are these empty cars circling our neighborhoods with nobody in them? The neighbors want to know. A Waymo invasion in the news on this Friday.
Each day, dozens of the autonomous cars circle the cul-de-sac at the end of Battleview Drive. The cars are empty and are not picking anyone up.
Yesterday morning, we had 50 cars that came through between 6 and 7.
This neighbor says when they put one of those kid-shaped neon green children at play signs in the road to block the Waymos.
We had 1.8 Waymos that were stuck trying to figure out how to turn around.
Waymo says it is addressing the problem.
Just doesn't feel safe to have that traffic.
Michael Wallace reporting. Back here, New Jersey State Police announced today they busted up a major human trafficking operation which operated in Central and South Jersey. And the payoff? Well, they managed to wrestle 15 victims out of the ring of harm's way. New Jersey Attorney General Jennifer Davenport.
13 people have been charged in connection with a human trafficking and drug distribution ring. And at least 15 survivors have been identified and connected with services. Human trafficking knows no geographical boundaries. This case touched Middlesex, Ocean, Camden, and Burlington County.
Yeah, they were busy. The Division of Criminal Justice worked with the state police to take it down. DA Davenport says they're on a mission to relentlessly pursue those who exploit others. She says anybody who engages in this kind of criminal activity should know one thing. We're coming for you. Your headlines are next. The talks continue. The deadline looms. Stay with the only station with 24/7 coverage of the potential Long Island Railroad strike. 10-10 Wins on 92.3 FM.
All news, all the time. This is 10-10 Wins on 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
61 degrees at 2:20. I'm Larry Mullins, and here's what's happening on this Friday. Yeah, more on the fears surrounding a potential LIRR strike. Never mind commuters feeling a repeat of what happened yesterday in that track fire down at Penn. But a Monday morning commute even worse than yesterday? Oh, and businesses who make money off commuters are saying this could be crazy. Hang on. The body of a man found in the waters off Brooklyn Bridge Park. Who is he? And how long had he been there? The NYPD is on that. Also today, the city discussing pooper scooper laws, which could land you in court or with a fine. They're considering a whole series of goodies for those who allow their Fidos to fertilize the whole doggone city without picking it up. A Brooklyn lady charged with allegedly trying to use other people's names to score opioid prescriptions in Hempstead. Cops say she had a good job working as a supervisor at an assisted living facility until she went and did something stupid. And it's the final week of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, and he's lined up an A-list of characters to put a bow on it. We'll have more coming up in 10-10 Wins Entertainment. AccuWeather says breezy, cool, pick some sun and clouds, get you a high of 67 degrees as we head for the weekend. Wednesday News Time 221. Let's get you where you need to go now. Here is Greg Rice.
It's not the strike, at least not yet. It's yesterday's problem all over again today because of yesterday morning's fire on the Amtrak property near Penn Station. It is still an absolute mess, a horror show on the Long Island Railroad. There is half-hourly LIRR service between Penn Station and Jamaica. I don't mean there's half-hourly service on your branch. I mean there is one train every 30 minutes between Penn Station and Jamaica. That's not going to be enough. So for the most part, trains are either being diverted to or from Grand Central Madison, or they are finishing and starting at Jamaica. Now, I would expect more out of Grand Central Madison and Atlantic Terminal for today's rush hour like yesterday. So unless you're getting to the Port Washington branch, the advice is the same that it's been. Get to either Grand Central Madison or Atlantic Terminal and then take the first thing that goes to Jamaica, because everything is going to eventually converge at Jamaica, aside from the Port Washington branch. So that's where you're going to want to be. Port Washington branch, they canceled 7 trains yesterday during rush hour. And today, we're adding Subway Series traffic on top of that. So I would expect a horror show and then some on the Port Washington branch. If you're trying to get to and from the Subway Series tonight, take the 7 trains, gut it out, because at least the 7 trains are going to be running, and there's no chance the 7 trains shut down later tonight because of a possible LIRR strike. New Jersey Transit, Midtown Direct service still just going to Hoboken instead, with very, very limited Northeast Corridor service in and out of Penn Station. Citybound George still 60 plus on the upper, 45 to 60 on the lower west side. Best of it out over at the Lincoln Tunnel, getting you into the city. It's still at least 30 to 40 minutes, 45 out from 11th, better from 9th. It's about an hour at the outbound Holland on the Jersey side. Newark Bay, the lesser of two evils. The Brooklyn-bound Brooklyn Bridge starting to get a bit slow out of the city. Traffic and transit every 10 minutes on the ones, and breaking traffic alerts whenever they happen. Greg Rice, 1010 wins at 92.3 FM.
So everybody's sort of kind of got a taste of what an LIRR shutdown would look like yesterday after that track fire involving Amtrak lines. As we reported, the fire actually impacted the NJT and the LIRR lines. Folks had to make their way out to Grand Central Madison, as Greg just mentioned, and over to Brooklyn to catch a train out of Atlantic Station. Well, the looming strike, which could happen starting at midnight tonight, could amp that up. And it won't matter if you go to Grand Central or Atlantic Station or anywhere else. The trains may completely stop if the union and the MTA don't come to an agreement here. Already, business owners around profit-making Penn Station are pacing back and forth. Here's Mary Lynn Buckley.
A Long Island Railroad strike won't just be bad for commuters. It'll be a headache for business owners, too.
So if nobody, stop by, then we're gonna no business.
At Dazzle Nails, Sharon was serving a client from Long Island.
Yes, we have a lot. The people working nearby, if they cannot come to the work, then we will have a problem with the business.
She says many of her customers come straight from work before they go home. The same goes for Pete, who owns a local corner store.
It's hurt the business, like, retailer, because it's strike, so it really affect the businesses.
The 5 unions that represent LIRR workers will be at the bargaining table again. Mary Lynn Buckley, 1010 wins on 90.